Good morning, Glacier Peak. Please give a massive round of applause and a warm welcome for your tournament MC, the Mr. Brett Wartzman.
What is happening, Glacier Peak? How you doing today? Everybody awake? Very cool. Before we do anything else, how about a huge shout out to the Glacier Peak High School drumline for coming out and hanging out with us this morning. That was super fun, and I just gotta say the old band geek in me is really excited to see them out here. So thank you to them for coming out. I am thrilled to be back here at Glacier Peak High School for yet another Pacific Northwest District FRC event. It's gonna be a great time. We're out here playing Destination Deep Space, presented by the Boeing Company, and we are in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, which most of us in this room were not alive for. The moon landing, some of us who are on the younger side might not know, this was a massive accomplishment. This was a big deal. This was not a thing that people were sure was going to be able to be done. And yet, through hard work, through teamwork, through big dreams, big ideas, and willingness to take risks, the team pulled that off back in 1969. Not unlike the way you all pulled off building a robot in 6 weeks to come out here and play this fantastic game. So congratulations to all of you for that. And as we look back 50 years into the past to be inspired by that event, we also look forward 50 years into the future when all of you students will be running this world, no joke, and doing amazing things that we can't even begin to imagine as we stand here today. So get excited, do the work hard, learn things, and put it to good use. And we're very excited to see what you all do going forward. We got a fantastic event lined up this weekend. We've got 38 teams, I believe, lined up here this week. We've got 3 teams playing their first Destination Deep Space event, which is really exciting. We've got 2 rookie teams in the house. Shout out 7461 Binary Circles. And 7627 Descendants of Gort. Where y'all at? And I also can't let the opening ceremonies go by without recognizing that we have not one, but 2 former world champion teams with us. Where's 2928 Viking Robotics? And our reigning world champions from Houston, 2976, the Spartabots. We're so excited with the high quality of play that happens at this event every year and throughout the Pacific Northwest, and I can't wait to see what happens here this weekend. Before we do anything else, we want to introduce 3 people that you've all seen before and that you will see many more times. The founder of FIRST, Dean Kamen, First Distinguished Advisor, Woody Flowers, and First President, Don Bosey. Take a look.
Welcome to Destination Deep Space, presented by the Boeing Company. It's almost time to blast off.
Working with your partners in deep space, you're going to make this another graciously professional event.
First works due to all of your mentors, teachers, parents, sponsors, suppliers, and our terrific event volunteers, including many FIRST alumni.
They've led the way with their dedication, leadership, and talents, so be sure to thank them all for helping you on this fantastic journey.
You continue to impress with your creative design, your teamwork, and your resolve to help FIRST make this a better world.
So a big thanks from FIRST to you.
You really are out of this world.
Continue to think big while having the hardest fun you'll ever have.
And good luck to all. It's time for Destination
Deep Space.
This is a really exciting year for us here in the Pacific Northwest. Every year is great. We love every game we play. But this year is special because it's not just Destination Deep Space, it's Destination Deep Space presented by the Boeing Company, who has their home right here in the Pacific Northwest. How many of you teams have a Boeing mentor or have Boeing as a sponsor helping you out through the season? Yeah, Boeing plays a huge role in FIRST here in the Northwest and worldwide, and of course they play a huge role here in the Northwest outside of FIRST as well, and we could not be more thrilled to have them taking the lead sponsor role for the FRC game this year. Speaking of, Boeing is doing some really exciting things in the realm of space technology, and we'd like you to learn a little more about that as well. Let's take a look at this video.
Space is a compelling place. You know, I think about what it's going to take to go to Mars someday. It is going to take a team, right, led by NASA's exploration cadre of astronauts and the vehicle that will take them there. And then I look at the Boeing team that has pulled this together. I look at this team and they are second to none.
I work at Boeing at the Florida Space Coast site, supporting the CST-100 program. I'm a stress analysis engineer, so I ensure that the spacecraft has sufficient structural integrity to take it through its missions.
I am a design engineer, so I help design any of the production or ground support hardware that helps lift, move, or integrate any of the rocket parts together for SLS.
I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm in the design visualization group here. We do high-level modeling and simulations.
I'm building a rocket that's going to go back into space, so that's pretty cool.
There is nothing more important than teamwork in what we do here. It takes the best minds and it takes really good, solid communication.
Probably my favorite part of engineering is the creating, the ability to be working on a project and see it go from just a bunch of drawings on paper or a bunch of models in a computer to, as you can see behind me, an entire spacecraft.
So we're just building the foundation for the generations after us to build better rockets, to get to different planets. Maybe they'll make it to Jupiter or any of the other planets.
You can never learn too much. No matter what you're learning, it's always applicable somewhere.
Working on one of the first commercial crew programs since the retirement of the shuttle is a complete honor and privilege. This is something that we all take a great deal of pride in.
Being part of the team going to Mars, I mean, I get goosebumps every time I think about it.
I've always had a passion for pushing new frontiers in space exploration. Being a part of SLS and of America's space program is a dream come true for me.
You can see there all the amazing things that Boeing is doing. All of you all raised your hands, get to work with Boeing employees every week as part of your season. And I'm thrilled to bring out another Boeing employee as our first speaker. She is a production engineer on the 777 and 777X line. She is also a first alumna of Team 2926, the RoboSparks. Please welcome Jacqueline Beyruti.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, cool words. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the first team for allowing me to be here and talk to you guys. As many of you know, since I've done this at previous districts, my name is Jacqueline Beyruti. I am an alumni from Team 2926, and I'm here to tell you that FIRST is more than just a high school competition. FIRST is more than just robotics. FIRST is something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. The values and the beliefs and the ethics that FIRST instills in you now is something that you're going to carry for the rest of your life. I still use gracious professionalism to this day, whether it's in my classes, whether it's in my job, or if it's just helping somebody with their groceries at the store. FIRST has a huge place in my heart because they are really the reason why I begrudgingly became an engineer. See, when I was in 7th grade, my dad kickstarted and became the head mentor to our team 2926. Now, as a 7th grader, as if 5 days at school wasn't enough, now it was 7. So I had two options. I could either go to the drawing board and help create what this great robot would be. And I could help with the process from start to finish. Or I could sit and pout and watch cartoons all day. Obviously, I chose the cartoons. But for weeks and weeks, went to days and days, and I started becoming more on the build team and less just pouting. And I didn't think I could do this because I never wanted to be an engineer. See, I wanted to be a chef. So obviously this job was an entire 180. But first helped me figure out what I wanted to do. They gave me the base that I can use to say, maybe I can do this. Maybe this isn't just a hobby. I can make this a career. So for 6 years, I did absolutely everything on my team, from building the bumpers to trying to get sponsors to being even on the drive team. So for those 6 years, FIRST really became the biggest part of my life. I then graduated and went to WSU, Washington State University, with the intent to become a mechanical engineer. Now on the first day, I was so nervous. And all the students were kind of in one room while the instructors were getting ready. And then suddenly you hear this tiny whisper, FIRST Robotics. And you see about 5 or 10 heads pop up trying to figure out who said FIRST Robotics. Somebody suddenly had the guts to say, hey, I heard you're talking about FIRST Robotics. What team were you on? And suddenly you see everyone light up. There was teams from Cyborg, teams from Skunkworks, team from XBot, teams from all around the area. And this became a family when we were working on our projects throughout those 4 years of college. In December, I graduated with my mechanical engineering degree and a minor in communication. I was lucky enough, because of this first experience, to get an internship with Boeing, which then became a job. I stand before you now as a production engineer for the 777X. But it all started with FIRST. It started right here on this field, right here in these bleachers, because this helps everyone, whether you want to be an engineer, whether you want to go into finance. This helps absolutely everyone get the experience that they need to move forward, and FIRST is such a big part of being who I am today. So good luck, everyone. May your robots work, and let's have good job, everyone.
I'll take that. Thank you, Jacqueline. And we've said a few times already, Boeing does so much for us. We're so excited to have them. And all of you who just raised your hands a few minutes ago that you have Boeing influence on your team, we would like all of you to come down here to the field just before lunch, and we're going to take a picture. All the Boeing mentors and all the members of their teams, which might literally be everyone I'm looking at right now. That's fine. We'll make it work. But all of you that are affiliated with Boeing, we'd love you to come down here before lunch and get a giant picture. So please join us for that. Our next guest is extremely familiar, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. He is the co-chair of the FIRST Executive Advisory Board, and he is the founder of FIRST Washington. Please welcome Mr. Kevin Ross.
Thank you, Brett. Good morning, everybody. I like to always ask this question. Who likes this whole gracious professionalism thing? I agree. So, FIRST Washington, I'm going to give you just a really quick history so you know where I'm coming from. So FIRST Washington basically got its start in 2002 when a group of about 5 or 6 of us, most of us were FRC mentors, decided, hey, let's do FLL. Let's be we'll do the FLL contest here in the state of Washington. And so then in 2005 or so, we started doing the first VEX challenge, or the first tech challenge. Used to be the VEX challenge. And then in 2007, we started doing all of the FRC organizing. So I just wanted to point out that for many, many, many years, we have started to build up an enormous cache of volunteers and made it really a tradition in the Pacific Northwest for our community to take care of handling first in the Northwest. For a lot of you, that sounds really familiar, but it turns out that this is actually somewhat unique. We are the first group to take on all of the FIRST programs, all 4 programs, and run them as a big unit. And it kind of is a badge of honor for us in the state of Washington to make that happen. So all of our volunteers work tirelessly all year long to make sure that FLL and FTC and FRC all happen. And we know that that involves a lot of your teams, and for that I wanted to thank all of the teams who participated either as mentoring or volunteering at all of our events this year. And if your team was involved in volunteering, raise your hand. See, look at how many there are. That's awesome. The other thing I want to point out to you, see all the people running this event back here? Who's an alumni? Raise your hand. So, gracious professionalism is really important, not only for how you're volunteering, but also for how our volunteers are expressing themselves to you. And so please keep that in mind, that as someday, as my hair gets grayer and older, we need to start replacing us old guys with people like this and people like you. So as you go off into the future, please remember to come back to us and be a part of this community and help drive this community forward, because that is what makes gracious professionalism work, and that is why you guys are having such an awesome experience. Is that a deal? Deal. Outstanding.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, we have reached the part of the ceremonies where I get to point at a bunch of people and they wave and you clap and we say thank you for all the hard work they do. So let's begin with the fabulous ladies, gentlemen, and others in the blue shirts, your judges, led by Judge Advisor Carrie Shue. I understand they have already been out and about for much of the morning, so most of you have probably spoken to them already, and you will continue to do so throughout the weekend. Also on the thank you list, your referees right back here in the black and white, led by head referee Andy Yeckel. And I just got to point out, if you haven't seen Andy's hair bow, it is beautiful. He's not the only one wearing it, but we'll see his the most, so super cool there. Also, please say hello to our safety advisor, Alan Walker. He is around somewhere. Alan will be out and about and making sure everybody is operating safely at all times, because no robot, no competition, nothing you do here is more important than keeping you safe and whole. So when in doubt, just stop it. Speaking of safety, we have one of the best safety animation winners I've seen in several years of doing this, coming out of Team 5348 Charger Robotics from Cokato, Minnesota. Let's take a look at that animation.
There's always a lot to do before a rocket launch, but safety should always be the #1 priority. Always get plenty of sleep. It's important to stay awake and play it safe. Protect your eyes, hands, and feet with the proper attire. Keep your hair tied back and no loose clothes. Always make sure to secure parts before cutting. In case of emergencies, read up on your team's safety procedures, and always power down the robot before working on it. With all the proper precautions taken and the work done, we're ready to blast off.
Teams, please do make sure that you have a safety plan in place for anything that might go wrong this weekend. Mentors, and coaches work with your team, make sure everybody knows what you're going to do in case of a situation in your pit, what you're going to do in case of emergency here at the venue, and of course, if there is a major emergency, make sure you're listening to announcements and instructions and following them so we can keep everybody safe. I also like to point out that safety is not just physical, it is mental and emotional as well, and if you find yourself in need of a mental or emotional break, we have a quiet room hosted at this event, courtesy of Team 5588, Rain Robotics. And if you need more information about that, speak to pit administration, and they can let you know where you can go to take a few moments. Who likes money? Who wants to go to college someday? Much more lukewarm reaction than I expected there, but whatever, we'll roll with it. You've heard this before. FIRST is a huge jump start to your post-high school endeavors. The numbers I have this year, more than 200 colleges and universities offering more than $80 million in scholarship funds available exclusively to FIRST team members and alumni, and we want you to get your piece of that. I'm also told that this year we're starting to see more and more companies looking to hire FIRST alumni as interns and eventually potentially fast-tracking them to full-time positions. So the work that you're doing with your teams here this weekend, all build season, and over however many years you're involved with the program is really just the first step in the difference you're going to make in your lives. To that end, let's take a look at this short video about scholarships. Students, please do make sure you go to that website and you check out all the scholarship opportunities as soon as you can so that you can get your piece of that $80 million. Speaking of students, we have some very special ones here with us this weekend. We have our Dean's List semifinalists. This is the only individual award given to team members in all of FIRST. It recognizes students that have performed outstanding leadership activities, outstanding contributions to their teams, outstanding outreach to their school and their community, and these individuals have been nominated by their teams for their amazing work. Let's take a look at the list of nominees here this weekend, and please join me in congratulating and acknowledging them. All of those students will be interviewed over the course of the weekend, and we will have the honor of moving 2 of them forward to the competition at the district championship in a couple of weeks during our award ceremony tomorrow. All right, getting down towards the end of it, most of you, many of you, some of you know that FRC, what we're doing here today, is just one of 4 programs that are part of FIRST. We also have FIRST Tech Challenge, which just had their state championship here in Washington this past Sunday. We have the FIRST Lego League, and we have the FIRST Lego League Junior. And one of the great things that we've been seeing happen here in Washington and in the Northwest lately is the increase in the number of FLL and FTC teams, helping to create a pipeline to our FRC programs and eventually off to college and out into the workforce. We have programs set up to help with those teams, and the one we want to feature right now, we've got a slide about, is FIRST Jumpstart. This is a program that's been set up to help support new teams, provide extra help with coding, extra help with robot construction and fabrication, lots of extra support for these new teams to help them get off the ground. So if you or someone you know is trying to start an FLL or FTC team, if you have younger students in your school or in your community or in your neighborhood that you think would benefit from this program and you want to get them started, check out those websites, go register by April 15th and take advantage of this fantastic opportunity so we can continue to grow our program here in the Northwest. All right, all of that said, it is time for us to all please rise, remove your hats, and I would like to welcome onto the field the 2019 Glacier Peak District event choir to perform our national anthem. Who's ready for some robots? No. I know it's Saturday and it's early and it's week 4, but I'm going to be that guy. Who is ready for robots? Thank you. The other voice you're going to hear all weekend long, my partner, our game announcer, Mr. Brian Andrews.
Good morning, Glacier Peak.
And we're going to bring our teams out and we're going to get ourselves ready for some Destination Deep Space action. We'll be right back with match number 1.